Welcome back to the GSTL. It is Saturday, 1:10 p.m. Korean Standard Time, and it's time for a little bit of an interesting Team League match today. We have one of our strongest teams up against one of the weaker teams so far score-wise.
We have HoSeo up against MVP, and currently MVP is on the second rank in the league, but the only reason is that they have one less match than XMA, so that if they are able to win today, they will once again claim the first rank in the rankings. And here we have Team MVP.
Yep, here they are. And
led by Swagger.
Yeah, we had a little bit of swagger there.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that today's match is... A lot of people are thinking it's going to be one-sided. But as Keen with our starting player, they're kind of putting out one of their all-around good players. I don't think we'll see an all-kill from him necessarily. I think one of the HoSeo players will be able to stop him. But, you know, it would be really, really interesting if HoSeo was able to take a win today or at least take a lead.
Yeah, definitely. HoSeo needs a little bit of a miracle today because they have not been doing well this season. And MVP, they are looking so strong. And some of the jokes also in the team, they just don't get old. Earlier, we didn't see Killer anywhere, and so I just asked casually in the room where exactly Swagger is, and the whole team just started laughing. So it seems like they still give him a lot of trouble for picking that nickname. Yeah. They don't like it too much.
Yeah, they had an entire discussion about it, actually, after we just mentioned the name. It's like you mention the name and everybody goes crazy. It's like, you know, putting politics on the table or something. Everyone's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. But, well, Killer is here, you just saw him on screen, and MVP, as we already said, they look really strong. They have a lot of really good players. The players that they relied on in the past, like the IG, for example, they don't do this well this season, but they have a lot of other players, like, for example, Vampire, aka Super, who already performed an all-kill this season, and others like Noblesse that are always good for a kill. Such a big lineup. Even. Exactly, Sniper as well. A big lineup that they can use to also send out a few snipers, Tails, of course, being one of them. And he developed. He kind of reached the next level. He's now the Human Torch.
Yeah, he actually... His hair, like, if you look at him directly today, it actually might hurt your eyes because it's so bright.
Oh, yeah, it definitely...
It's like even brighter when I dyed my hair that one time last year.
Yeah.
He's the Human Torch. He really is.
Here we have our last game yesterday. StarTale versus FX Open. Bomber with one win, and then it was time for Avenge. And the Avenger, he destroyed FX Open. Took down Lino, Kumiho, and SC. FX Open, yeah, they were crushed.
He beat them so hard that Choya formally apologized on Facebook.
He did?
Yeah, he actually did. He said he was sorry.
Well, yeah, yesterday wasn't a good day for FX Open, that much for sure. StarTale looked very dominant, especially with their Brothers player here. And they, of course, are our current standings in the GSTL Season 1.
Look at MVP at +6, even with one game not played. If they got an all-kill today, for example, if that happens, they would be at +10 and at the top of the league, 8 points ahead of second place. They are dominating this season.
Yeah, they are looking really, really strong. Even if they would lose today, they will at least be, depending on the score, of course, but if they're not being all-killed, they would at least be on the third rank for now. But yeah, today is the game where they are up against the worst team that we had so far this season. There's still a title where Prime and HoSeo are struggling to find out which team is actually worse.
Yeah, that's true. I guess we'll find out one day. And HoSeo, all of their players currently in Code B, whereas MVP has quite a few Code A players.
And compared to XMA, this is not because they decided to participate in WCS and A or EU instead of the Korean WCS. No, this is because they just could not qualify. Not even Jakji was able to go to the Code A qualifier this year.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rough qualifier for MVP's players trying to get into that Challenger League. You can see the race distribution is relatively even for both teams. We normally see some of the same players coming out from HoSeo. We'd love to see something different today. Like, we saw Sanai come out, for example, once, and he kind of had a weird moment. Maybe he'll fix it today.
Yeah, that was definitely not Sanai. Not the same Sanai that we saw in the preseason. Yeah, of course, a few highlights, especially from the game that we saw MVP play against Team StarTale.
Yep, Noxo, formerly known as a Monster, doing extremely well here.
Yeah, Noxo played really well. He already took down Bomber in that series. That was quite impressive.
You know, I feel like MVP is the team that knows how to play team strategy better than any of the other teams as far as snipers and maps go.
Yeah, we saw yesterday StarTale also prepare a sniper, but that same thing is also true for Team MVP. You're certainly right about it. Here's this match against Bomber that I just mentioned. He was able to win there. He got 3 kills in total, took down Avenge, Alive, and Bomber. And in the end, MVP took the series with a 4-3. It was a very close match, but they were able to pull it off.
Yep, and of course...
I want to see that epic kick at the end again.
Yeah,
when he got
was
his
pretty
solo
awesome. Vampire's kick, man.
He played so well. I mean, he took down so many players, but this was, of course, the match against Curious. This was not his all-kill, but that was the last game that we had when StarTale was beaten by Team MVP. He took down Curious on DMZ.
Yep. Took him out finally there at the end. Good timing, and you can see the MVP coach very happy. And he should be proud of his team. This season, they have looked unbeatable. Just very, very strong play overall. He looks better with a smile, you know. He really does.
Back in the back of the picture, you actually have Sanai. The last time that he came out, he really disappointed. But he is a player who has a lot of potential, and it was a bit sad to see him just fall apart like this. I really hope that he gets his nerves under control and can just help the team out, because they certainly need some help here. Yeah. The starting player today is Sting from the Western Wolves. Sort of is not here in Korea just yet, and as you can see, the rest of the team, there are a lot of players that we haven't seen this season, like Kaiser, for example.
Yeah, T-Ball. Yeah, we saw him in the preseason only.
Yeah.
You know, Brave, not somebody we really see. So they usually rely on Jockji and Mad Bull as kind of their two heavy hitters, and sometimes they send out the Western Wolves guys. Sting comes out often. We did have sort of when he was in Korea come out.
Yeah, Mad Bull is certainly a very interesting character, and all the way in the back we have Tacita just trying to hide from the camera. Yeah, but talking a little bit about Mad Bull, he is of course one of the more colorful players in the lineup, and also a player who can take a few wins. Looks a little bit depressed today.
Yeah,
there we go.
There it is.
No leg today?
No leg today. You know, NSOS is definitely out of leg room this season. That is for sure.
The funny thing actually is that Mad Bull is their best player this season. 2 wins, 1 loss. Jockji lost 3 times. He came out a little bit more often than Mad Bull, but still.
And here's the MVP info. We have the info a little bit backwards, but you can see there's so many good players in this lineup. The roster actually today looks thinner than ever, but it still is so long, going all the way to the 3rd page there with Shine, the former TSL Zerg, who's always somebody they can rely on. They have such a great lineup. There's so much depth.
Yeah, they definitely do.
There's Tails,
the Human Torch.
Yeah, I mean, he looks good though. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, if you go out with Tails during the night, even if there are no streetlights or anything, don't worry. He will illuminate the darkness, and he will be a light of hope that you need when you find your way home and you're totally smashed.
That's how his teammates find their way back to the team house. They just
when they won like the last GSTL match, and they've been partying hard, and they're like, we can't see anything, staggering around, stumbling everywhere, and then Tails appears.
Tails has his own private room at the house because nobody can sleep in his room because it's too bright. They're like, oh, I can't sleep with him in there. I need a blindfold or something at least.
Keen turns around, looks at him, and is like, Jesus Christ, get a haircut, please.
Keen puts on his sunglasses he's known for so he can sleep.
That would be an awesome picture. I would like that. Well, here we go. The coach today for Team MVP in a very interesting outfit, to say the least. The NSOSA coach, stylish as usual.
He has his normal tie. He's always got that striped tie. I feel like that looks almost like a lab coat or something. And if you look at it close up and then you look at it far away, it's like, well, it is pretty stylish.
Well, give him a gold chain. It looks a little bit like a thing.
Yeah.
Actually, the camera angle and also the colors here don't give the white that he wears. They don't give him justice.
Well, the thing is, it's also the hair of Tails. You look at that hair, and everything else just seems a little bit less white.
Yeah. This is such a strong team, especially in the team league. I mean, they always have some snipers prepared. Question is, a little fighting spirit here for NSOSA and Sting, the Western Wolves player. If you want to prepare a sniper for NSOSA, it has to be Jockji, of course.
Yeah.
It's also one of the big problems that they have. They're a little bit predictable when it comes down to their strong players.
That's why I would love to see somebody like Kaisar just come out of the box and just scare people, you know? It's like, whoa, who is this guy? We have never seen him in a televised match before, so he could be extremely tricky. You know, even doing an aggressive strategy against a Terran player on a 2-player map like a 6-pool could, you know, get a build order win maybe for them. They need to pull out all the stops. They need to do whatever they can to beat this incredible team.
The man with the swag, just a camera for a second. He played such a strong series against Lenok in Code A. It was really impressive. And he's one of the pillars of the team. MVP, the coach, all the players, they have already said how much it helped them when Killer came onto the lineup, came into the team house and started practicing with them, started to prepare with them for their matches. So he's really important for them.
Yeah, absolutely so. And, you know, I feel like he could even come out today. You know, he's been playing well recently. He just looked so good against Leenock in Code A, for example. Leenock almost getting eliminated there.
Yeah. Huh? Nice boxes there.
Yeah, they're stylish.
Very colorful.
He never thought that his boxers would be on national television.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
You know, when he decided to reach over and grab whatever it was he grabbed, he didn't know we were all going to be giggling like we're in 5th grade again.
Have you realized that the camera is really trying to tease Matt Bull a little bit?
Yeah.
The camera loves him, and the last time we got really special celebrations by him when he came out and won a few of the matches. But it's going to be pretty cool to see what happens today. We're starting things off with the Terran versus Terran. And, you know, Keen is really good, but I feel Sting can take him.
Yeah, I think he certainly could. Sting is one of the stronger players. Obviously, he's not an HoSeo player exactly. He's just partnered with the team, and that's how he's allowed to play. But Sting, definitely somebody who's shown great games in the past, especially at foreign events.
IM Singapore was one of the events where he was really strong, where he showed everyone what he's made of, but that was also back in Wings of Liberty. Now we have Heart of the Swarm, and quite a bit of players have trouble transitioning. Yeah. We've seen this with so many of the heavy hitters that were coming out for all the teams. I mean, the Prime team is kind of showcasing that they have a lot of problems transitioning into Heart of the Swarm if you think about how strong they were in Wings of Liberty, but right now they struggle so much. They're very predictable with the lineup, and they are all the way at the bottom of the ranks. And if HoSeo takes that today here or is getting a really good score, then Prime will be at the bottom of the rankings.
Yeah, exactly, and I think that would surprise a lot of people, especially considering they were the champions of that season last year that we had in Vegas for the finals.
If someone would have told me that Prime would be like last or like at least 7th in the ranks coming into the season, I would have called them crazy. I would have never thought that they would like be this dominated by the other teams. Yeah. That was really surprising.
Exactly. It's really, really shocking. And this HoSeo team has historically in the past gotten eliminated early, and everybody was wondering, you know, this time when they have more chances because we have this pennant race, are they going to do better? So far, they have not really delivered just yet. They did take one win, but I'm curious to see if they can at least get a lead today, because if they get that momentum, maybe just... Maybe.
It's just really scary because they are up against MVP, and we harp a bit on MVP being such a strong team league team, but that's exactly what they are and what we've seen in the past over and over and over again. So I feel that this is going to be really, really tough on HoSeo. And it's definitely going to be an uphill battle. So an early win here in the Terran versus Terran delivered by Sting, that would help the team already quite a lot. Also for the morale, of course. And I'm curious to see who's coming out today. I mean, Jakchi is, of course, kind of a given. I think we are probably going to see Matt Bull as well. He is the only player next to Jakchi who was able to win a single map this season, so I feel it has to be him.
And then I think the last player will probably be Tassadar, to be honest.
Might be Tassadar, yeah.
They've used him as actually their last player a few times, and so... You know, it depends on when they want to send Jakchi out. I feel like if the first Terran versus Terran does not go well for them and Keen takes it, they might just send Jakchi out to kill Keen. Because they've done that before when they're like, well, Jakchi's pretty good at TVT and we want to get an early momentum. We don't want to wait until the last second because it's pretty predictable. So I could see them sending Jakchi out earlier, even though he is their ace. They've done this before in the past also because they want to get the best indicator possible if they win.
Also, another problem is if you have a rather small lineup, like in HoSeo, it's not as bad as with the Prime team, but still it's rather small when you compare it to how many players are on the MVP roster. If you want to prepare a sniper, who do you prepare it for?
Yeah, it's very difficult.
MVP has so many players. We talked about DRG, we talked about Sniper, we talked about Super AK Vampire, who already got an all-kill this season. They don't really have such a key player as Leenock for FXO that you know he will come out. There is no way they are going to play without him. So it's really difficult to prepare a sniper for one match in particular, especially when you don't even know if you will be able to bait that player out. So they just have to prepare for all the matches and try to play their strengths.
Yeah, MVP is a team that has so many different snipers that, you know, when they think about Jakchi, they probably have like 6 different snipers ready for him. They're going to roll a 6-sided die. It's like lands on 3. They're like, all right, Vampire, it's you. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. I would love to see Tails again today. Yeah. Tails is just a player that I love in the team league. He has also shown really good performance in a lot of the individual games that he played. But in a team league, that's where he really shines. So that would be pretty cool to have him out here today.
Yeah. He's definitely got some of the coolest bowlers we've ever seen in the team league. He's a very innovative Protoss player. There's always these certain players that kind of stand out as innovators, and when it comes to Protoss in the team league, Tails is always the go-to guy. It's like, what build has he thought about today?
Yeah, so we're going to find out pretty soon. The first game, of course, is going to be a Terran versus Terran. Keen is a strong opponent to face, but he I know, with Keen, you don't really always know what you get. It's always a little bit weird. Sometimes the guy is completely in a roll, and then the next you send him out in the Team League, loses the first match right away without even having a chance. But usually he's at least someone who is good for one win. And for HoSeo, of course, we have Sting from the Western Wolves. And that was definitely someone who could take that Terran versus Terran. I feel actually in terms of the matchups itself, that is a pretty good matchup for Sting to play.
Yeah, I think so too. The first map is Icarus, so it's going to be possibly a weird TBT. Usually on Icarus, most Terran players will go for Commander first and the other matchups. In this matchup, if you do that, you run a little bit of a risk because there's really fast Reaper plays that can come out and kill you with that. Fast Hellbat drops, for example. So I feel like both players will play an aggressive style before taking a Command Center, just because that grants them some safety, some scouting.
It's a very aggressive map, and it's also a map that is... It's actually funny, it's picked against Zerg and by Zerg. When Zerg wants to be very aggressive, he can pick the map, but it's also picked against Zerg because the third base is so difficult to take. So usually when you send out a player who is safe against early aggression and then can just try to take down the third base over and over again, deny it for as long as possible, it's a pretty decent map against Zerg, but you have to be able to withstand the early pressure. That's something that, for example, we saw Bomber fail like yesterday when he was up against Lenok.
Here's Sting, a very young player. He's got that bowl cut on his head, and obviously you can see his best position here is 4th, but even that is he's 1 and 2, so he's had a bit of a rough GSTL history so far with 1 and 4, but he is the starting player, and you know, getting a lead here would be so great for their team.
Yeah, they kind of need an early win, I feel. They had that in the last... For them, it's not only the getting the early win, but it's also holding on to it. And Keen, of course, he is strong, but HoSeo, they've certainly trained for this quite a bit. They don't have any players in the individual league, so they can prepare solely for the GSTL. This is the only thing where they really have to play, and therefore I would expect them to really give their all, especially given the situation they're in right now.
Yep. Keen is no easy opponent. You know, he might just do a Proxy Marauder, kill him, and put sunglasses on and say, deal with it. He's known for that. I could see anything coming out. And he just said in chat that he's going to do an 11-11, so we'll see if it comes true on Icarus. Definitely could.
That hand-holding that we had there on the MVP bench, I don't quite know what they were trying to do, if that was really arm wrestling or what it was supposed to be, but it kind of looked funny. But we are heading now, of course, into game number 1 here at the GSTL. And here we have our 2 players. On Icarus, it's going to be a Terran versus Terran. Keen is up against Stinger.
Yeah, this is very, very pivotal for the HoSeo team. If they can get that momentum here, that's what they need. They do not want to have to pull out some of their better players early against Keen, he's a good player, but he's kind of like the all-around player. Keen has no glaring weaknesses or glaring strengths. He's just that strong player you put in the booth as a starter. He's such a good starting player to have.
Yeah, he definitely is. And for MVP, of course, especially for the coach, they expect the win today, and they need it. If you have a good look at the ranks, you will realize immediately who is the favorite team here. And this today could either be the revival of HoSeo, or it could be their funeral, depending on what the score is. So we're heading into the game right now. We're going to find out who takes the opening match here on Icarus. Either Keen or Sting at the GSTL Season 1 2013. Colin Wall. Starting to the bottom right, we have for HoSeo and the Western Wolves.
Western Wolves Mad Cat Sting.
Sponsored by Mad Cats. Chewing some gum.
Yeah, trying to kick some ass too. Top left of Icarus, we have his opponent. The man with the pogo stick.
MVP Keen.
The commander, 18 years old.
Keen here about 10 minerals behind. Because he had his auto mine at the beginning set to off intentionally, something that Sting did not do. I've noticed a few players in the GSL and in the GSTL have this set. I'm not sure why they do it. Maybe, you know, sometimes the auto mine does some weird things, but it's a little bit weird. So he's from Turkey is what that says, or he just says Turkey. loves Hanguk, which is Korea, so I guess that's what he's trying to say. Turkey loves Korea.
Really how you write turkey in Korean, in Hangul?
To be honest, I never tried, so
That looks weird. That looks really, really weird.
Well, it sounds weird too. Turkey.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. I looked at it, I was like, what?
But you know,
I have to look that up later. I can't believe that is actually how it's written.
have you ever been to Turkey before?
No, I haven't been to Turkey.
I would love to go.
I always wanted to go, but well, we have a few areas in the town where I live that's basically known as Little Turkey, so I've been there, and we are famous for like kebabs, but still.
Yeah, there's a lot of kebabs actually in Korea. Good Turkish places.
No, that's not kebab. I'm sorry, but that is not
I've
kebab.
had some good ones, man.
Oh yeah, it's definitely good food, but that's not kebab. I'm sorry to disappoint you there.
Well,
It tastes good though, yeah, but
it's good.
That's not
That's
what
all I
it's.
can say.
It's not what's advertised.
We have a CC first for Sting, and Keen is going for one of those more aggressive builds, as predicted.
Not really the 11-11 that he promised us in the chat, but he's definitely going for those, 2 barracks here a bit earlier. Oh, Keen actually promised the 11-11. Sorry, I mixed it up for a second here.
Yeah. But Keen is the one who goes for the gas earlier, and as a result will be able to... well, it looks like he's going to do a reactor expand. Starts the reactor now. Doesn't scout with the Reaper, just sends the SCV instead, and he's very safe with this. And he knows that he can start the reactor because he's already scouted that there is a command center.
And talking about command centers, for Keen we have the expansion of course a little bit later due to the opening that he chose, which also means that he has to do some damage with his aggression. Because if he doesn't, then he will fall farther and farther behind. But he already is about to start, his factory has just been started. We don't see that for Sting just yet at the bottom right.
Yeah, you know, we're probably going to see some Marine Hellion aggression come out. And Sting, with his build, you know, you talked about how he's going to get ahead because he's a faster command center. On this map, that is even further the case because of those gold patches. So
exactly.
He gets a huge advantage here. He also gets the rich minerals from that base a lot faster. Or rich gas, I should say.
Yeah, so the opening really works quite well for Sting in this situation. He has the production that he needs to put that out. He also goes for the 3rd barracks here, so a really marine-heavy style that he's currently playing. Doesn't tech at all, even though now he has the gas. Has the rich gas, of course, at the expansion. That will give him also a bit of an edge. I'm a bit surprised that we see... I'm not mistaken, right? Keen took the 2nd gas in his main base and didn't take the rich gas at his expansion.
Yeah, this is a little bit strange. It looks like he's... I don't have an excuse for him, actually. I mean, it gets the gas a little bit faster, but it's not as good for him overall. He's going for a Hellbat, so he doesn't need the gas immediately per se, but...
yeah, but if you take a gas, you might as well take the rich gas at the natural. So the timing here, I mean, he misses maybe 2 seconds, if so.
It's definitely a little bit strange. On the other hand, Sting looks like he wants to go for a time. He's going to have fast eBay. He's also going into fast combat shields with all those barracks you were talking about earlier. It looks like he just wants to be aggressive. Oh, the scan misses the armory.
Misses the armory, but at least sees the starport here. So he also knows everything else that's going on except for what's being built at the natural. But so far, I really like his position. I mean, Sting is pulling a little bit ahead in supply because of it. Has the bunker at the front, so he can work against the Hellions. Has a few Marines even at the back to defend. But he has a really good position here, going into +1 attack, going into the combat shield, having the lead in the economy. Keen really has to deliver now with this Hellbat drop.
Yeah. Oh, he's supply blocked though, so his Hellbat actually gets a little bit delayed here. Does finish that depot now. 2 Widow Mines here going to be used, it looks like, defensively to make sure no drops come into his base during all of this, because Keen is the one who doesn't know exactly how Sting has teched up. He doesn't know if he went into multiple barracks or if he's gone into a faster starport to try to hit him with drops.
Stim is now coming up for Keen, of course, whereas we just now complete the combat shield for Sting, who will add his own Stim in just a few seconds. There it is. And the factory is also done. Marines everywhere, at the natural, in the main base, at the front, with the bunker. And here comes the dropship now. And Keen has to do something here. He has to do a little bit of damage, or Sting will pull farther and farther ahead. At the front even, all those Widow Mines that we talked about a little bit earlier being set up already. A nice trap.
He could elevator in the Widow Mines and then kind of keep the Hellbats with them if he can get away with it. Doesn't look like that's what he wants to do. He wants to just burrow them. But here comes that drop. These Marines with combat shield should be able to deflect this. Depends on the micro, and so far it's good.
Yeah, but nice throw on top of the Marines, and the Hellbats immediately get a few kills off. But the SCVs are being pulled back. A really good move here, and without Stim, he just can't chase down the medivac.
Yep. Boost is almost ready. There it is. Gets away.
Needs a few units in the main base, but there's right now nothing. Attempted drop on top of those SCVs, but good pull by Sting.
Yeah, he doesn't pull all of them, loses several, but not as bad as it could have been there.
Only 3, and that is definitely worth it. That was a good defense here by Sting.
Yeah, Sting definitely feeling very happy about things right now. The second dropship is going to be, of course, a lot easier to defend because he has more units out. He's going to have Stim very soon.
Exactly. With the Stim, then he can chase down the medevac. What we also have is still this Widowmine at the front of Sting's base, so if he moves out there and doesn't realize it, Keen could lure him into the trap with the Hellion that he has there.
Yeah, and there's some of those Marines are very low on hit points because the medevacs were out a little bit late. So we'll see. I mean, it could happen. And he actually sends us in with third medevac too, so this is just constant aggression coming out.
Yeah, a lot of drop potential that we currently see for Keen. He really wants to make this happen and do some damage. The Marines are already there. Once again, the drop on top of them and trying to take down those Hellbats. The medevac is already gone, and the second Hellbat goes down as well.
But in the main base, we've got another drop on the edge. This is a weakened medevac. How fast will he react? There's a lot of weak SCVs here.
I didn't see it. One SCV goes down, a second one follows. But still, he's doing a decent amount of damage. That is a good defense, but the second drop or the third one better, that is. And
yeah.
Once again, Sting reacts.
Good reactions here, but he's losing a lot of mining time during this.
Yeah, he loses a lot of mining time, but still I have to say that he does a very good job with this.
Yeah. I mean,
this could have toasted like tons of SCVs.
He always targets the medevac too. Oh, he still gets it in. That was so close. Those units are so low on hit points.
Yeah, but still, in total, 16 killed, and he killed 4 medevac drops with... that is still kind of okay, but the drop that we have right now, does that really do enough damage? He has combat shields, he has also Stim. He's doing a decent job with the 2 medevacs, healing, taking down SCVs, and Sting is really punishing Keen here.
Yeah, he's tearing a new one right now. He's going to be able to force some minerals, or some lost mining time, and also killed a few SCVs there. It was just that healing power plus the combat shields that...
And the +1 attack upgrade.
Yeah, that's also true.
Going into tanks right now, and we have a lead for Sting in overall supply. The question now is how he is going to roll with it. He has to build a second engineering bay, I feel. I think he already built one, right? Because the problem right now is really that Sting is going to fall behind in upgrades. It's soon going to be equalized, but we have the double engineering bay for Keen, so he can go into +2/+2. His armory is already done.
Yeah, he does not have that second eBay. I checked it, and that is definitely going to become a problem. And there it is already for Keen instantly. +2 to start it for attack, and armor will soon follow. Doesn't quite have enough gas yet. Favoring the siege tank and the medevacs over it. There it is.
Here we go, and the real big problem is that Sting with the siege tanks that Keen has cannot just attack into the base. I'm not quite sure if you really can hit such a timing and that it would work.
Looks like he wants to hit the edge, maybe.
I think he has to do something, because if he doesn't get the second engineering bay and goes into +2/+2, then he has to finish it now.
Yeah.
He cannot possibly hope to play against his opponent when he's down 2 sets of upgrades later on.
Exactly, and TVT is the matchup that arguably matters the most about being down a set of upgrades. This command center is getting very low.
Yeah, he can probably save it, but this is... Oh, no, it's going down.
Oh my god.
Not quite, just barely able to save it, but he's losing a tank. As a consequence, he moved his entire army back to the bottom right. Lost the mining time too, and Keen is, as a result, going to pull massively ahead of his opponent. Yeah. Not only because of the +2/+2 that's being researched, but also, of course, because of this third base that Keen is now building and the damage that he has dealt to his opponent's economy.
Even the command center had to be repaired, which he's not repairing it right now. He stopped for some reason before it stopped burning, so it's going down now. He fixes it. But I got really scared there for a moment. You know, Keen
Wolf
did a good job there.
I don't think that's going to be successful. There are too many missile turrets.
Sensor tower finishes just in time.
Sensor tower as well, and we have also a Widowmine there.
Oh wow, yeah, you're so right.
Oh wow, loses 2 immediately, and well, this looks very much like game. And
Keen drops the Mana Mule.
Keen shares the opinion, drops the Mana Mule, and is like, well, buddy, you can stay in the game, but you know that you're so far behind right now that you might as well leave.
Yeah, this is a disaster. You know, it was a great opening, great defense against the Hellbats, but then he got the late upgrades, which he still hasn't even gotten. I say late, but it's actually just non-existent. He's got no armory. It looked like he just wanted to hit a timing, and with that one drop, Keen messed everything up. He made him turn around.
Yeah.
He forced the lift on the command center, and everything went wrong for Sting at that moment.
And now what do we have? We have a player that is ahead in siege tanks, ahead in upgrades with a +2/+2 about to finish, has a third base, and has a 40 supply lead against his opponent. And from this point on, the only thing that Sting can do is delay the inevitable and hope for a massive mistake by Keen.
This Western Wolf looks like he has to run with his tail between his legs. Great siege tank shots here.
+2 is done. Keen has now the stronger army. He has the bigger army. He has the better economy.
He's about to have +1 for his siege tanks even.
Yeah. He has more tanks. Could drop on top of his opponent's tank if he wanted to. He could just contain him, take a third base.
I think he's going to try to go into where the rocks are and just take that alternate attack route.
The way how TBT works, you might not necessarily be able to take down your opponent right away and really finish the game. But Keen is even getting a fourth base now.
Yeah. He's getting the better trades here with his upgrades for sure. And, I mean, just look at the supply. He doubles it now.
Yeah. Doubles his opponent's supply. A fourth base being built to the top right. The third is already floating over to the third.
And he has an entire extra army walking across the map right now.
Yeah, this is Sting dying a slow and painful death. Now even the Marines moving into the siege tank range because he knows he can take them.
Yeah, that's it.
GG. Keen takes game number 1. Lead for MVP.
That was a really, really pivotal drop that we had because it forced Sting to miss his timing. It also forced the lift. He almost killed the command, so he killed several SCVs. And that was just what he needed to buy enough time to get his upgrades out and take that lead in the game.
Yeah, at first we had Sting defending really well, but then the double drop at the third base, that changed everything. The lift on the command center, he had to move back with his entire army. He couldn't hit the timing that he apparently was preparing because he never got that second engineering bay. He never attempted to go into the second set of upgrades. Yeah. It really looked like he wanted to punish Keen a lot with this move.
Exactly. He didn't even get a third command center. So he was definitely planning on ending the game with that attack, or at least doing critical damage.
Yeah.
Did not happen that way. And now HoSeo has to send out a second player already early on, and they do not get that momentum they so sorely need.
Yeah, and who do you send out now? Do you really rely on Jakji this early? Do you send out Mad Bull?
Mad Bull got a haircut, by the way. I don't know if everyone knows that besides me. I think they could send Mad Bull out now, because he's a good all-around player for their team. Jakji, you know, they have sent him out early before, but they definitely don't want to send him out right now. That's not what they would like to do.
Yeah, they have sent him out quite early in the last games, but I would really love to see Mad Bull now. And Keen, he looked strong so far in the Terran versus Terran, so Jakji, always a good mirror match player, but still, you want to save him for later. And I feel that with Keen, there's a good player in the booth, but that's not the best player that MVP has, so Jakji wants to wait a little bit and hope that one of the other players can first take a win or can at least take Keen out, and Mad Bull would be my personal choice. I would love to see him there, but we have a lot of players for HoSeo, and who knows who's doing well in the team house these days.
Yeah, Jakji definitely the strongest player, but he's already tagged, I'm sure, by at least 3 players on the bench. Let's be reasonable. Like, alright, I can take him. What maps are left? And if you put him out this early, and he possibly even loses before they even use his snipers, that's when things are just in dire straits and you're just desperate and you're just grasping at straws. So if you lose him this early, it's like losing your queen in chess. You're just like, you're going to be playing a very, very, very uphill battle.
So let's have a look. We have to the bottom left Mad Bull, and it is going to be him.
I like this. This is, I think, the smartest choice they can make right now.
Yeah, and as we know, he always has a leg up.
Yeah. He certainly does.
Well, up against Keen now, that should be an interesting one. Can the Mad Bull deliver again?
We will find out very soon. Before we go into our break, let's check out his stats here. You can see one of the stronger players for his team at 2-1. He has a positive win rate in the GSTL, and his best position is coming out first. As you can see, he's only come out first according to those stats.
Before we have the match, though, we are heading into a 5-minute break, and as soon as we are back, we have Mad Bull up against Keen. See you guys in a few here at the GSTL 2013.